we all see or hear of practically the same things. But the way we act makes the difference between a regular individual or the individual that God wants us to be. This week we read a very interesting Torah portion, the Torah portion which speaks to us about a very peculiar episode between a king and a hired sorcerer and the Jewish people. We're going to soon see exactly how and what they did, but the gist of the story was that Balak, the king of Moab, was very scared of the Jewish people. He was in trepidation. He just saw what the Jewish people did to the Amorites after refusing to sell them water and food and allow them to pass through their land. They came out, the Amorites came out to wage war with the Jewish people, and the Jewish people wiped them out. So Balak, the king of Moab, is very scared. What does he do? He gathers his advisors. He asks them, what should we do to the Jewish people? They're very strong. They're very, very strong. Look what they've done. They're very numerous. And so his advisors say, we know of a certain sorcerer, and this sorcerer is known to be successful. You hire him, you pay him his hourly wage, he gets the job done. You get what you pay for in life. Balak said, I'm a king, no problem. No price can scare me off. Brings him forward, and he sends messengers to bring Bilam to Balak. Now we'll skip the whole episode. We know the episode between Balak and his donkey. It's for another talk, although it's a very interesting story. The Torah tells us that when Balak tells Bilam he wants him to curse the Jewish people for him, look at what it says. Ve'ata, and now, I'm in chapter 22, verse 6. Lechana arali et ha'am hazeh. Balak tells Bilam, and now proceed, go forth and curse this nation. Ki atzum hu mimeni, they're stronger. Ulai uchal nakebo, maybe you will be able to hit them, obviously through cursing them. V'agareshenu min haaretz, we'll be able to rid them from our land. Ki yadati asher tevarech mevorach v'asher ta'or yu'ar. Because Balak tells Bilam, King Balak tells Bilam the sorcerer, and he tells him, because I know, asher tevarech mevorach, whatever you bless is blessed. V'asher ta'or yu'ar, and whatever you curse will be cursed. The Zera Shimshon pays clear attention to the tense of this verse. He says, Asher tevarech mevorach. In what tense is mevorach? Mevorach is in hoveh, in present, in the Hebrew language. Vasher ta'or yu'ar, and whoever you curse, future will be cursed. So which one is it? Why the difference? Mevarech is now. Mevorach is later. So the Zera Shimshon answers by taking us back no less than 2 books earlier, toward the beginning of the book of Exodus. Specifically in chapter 3, the beginning of chapter 3 speaks about God coming to Moses, requesting for him, negotiating with Moses to take on this leadership as the messenger of the Jewish people, and the back and forth, until Moses asks God, well, when they ask me, what's your name? What do I answer? And Hashem answers, Yeh Asher Yeh. That's the name. I will be as I will be. That's the special name. And then Moses comes back and he says, but still, I don't think these people are deserving of being redeemed. Especially after Datan v'Aviram tattletaled on Moses to Pharaoh, and that's what made Moses flee away, run away from the land of Egypt. He says, I don't think they're ready. They're not worthy. What does God do then in there? He says, Moses, what's in your hand? Moses says, I'm holding a staff. He says, drop it. Drops it, and it becomes a snake. Moses was frightened. God says, go pick it up from the tail. Picked it up. He said one more thing. Take your hand and put it in your chest. Moses is not asking any more questions. After everything that's going on, no more questions. He puts his hand in his chest. He says, now take it out. He took it out, and his hand was white, covered in leprosy. Obviously, the two signs were in order to allude to Moses, hey Moses, don't speak Lashon Hara, slander of my people. Yeah, they're not perfect, no one's perfect, but if I say they need to come out, they're coming out. And don't speak Lashon Hara. Don't speak slander, don't speak negatively about them. He takes his hand, and God says, put the hand back in your chest. He takes the hand out, and the hand is back to normal. I want to read that verse for you, and the difference. It says, Vayomer, God tells Moses, Hashev yadecha el hekecha, return your hand to your chest. Vayashev yado el heko, and Moses puts his hand there. Vayotzi'ah meheko, and Moses takes his hand out of his chest. Vehine shava kivsaro, and it's already returned back to its regular flesh, regular skin. Rashi quotes the Gemara as well as the Midrash, which I'll explain, that the terminology of meheko, from his chest, proves to us that as soon as Moses' hand entered his chest, before he even removed his hand, it was already healed. Opposed to verse 6. Verse 6 says, Havina yadecha behekecha, bring your hand to your chest. The Midrash, as well as the Talmud, and Rashi explains that there's a difference between when Moses' hand had leprosy come on it versus to when it was healed. When his hand had leprosy on it, his hand first went to the chest, removed it, and then it was leprosy. Opposed to when it healed a lot quicker. The hand came to his chest, and before he even removed it, it was already healed. And all learning from the word meheko, from his chest. It's a little deep. However, the Zera Shimshon uses this rule that the Talmud says. The Talmud says that from this episode of Moses' hand going back and forth to his chest and let it being healed, we learn that any blessing comes very fast, and curses take longer. And we learn that from his hand getting leprosy, it took longer. He had to remove his hand. Being healed, it healed as soon as his hand came to his chest. And now the Zera Shimshon applies that to this week's Torah portion. He says, Asher tevarech mevorach. Bilam was known for his power of speech. Balak said, as soon as you bless, the blessing will take place. And when you curse, it takes a little time. It's yu'ar, it's in the future. All alluding to this concept of blessings happen right away and are activated right away, opposing to curses which are delayed. Now we just have to understand a little who Bilam is. Bilam was one of Paro's, the famous Paro that was overthrown by HaKadosh Baruch Hu, one of his 3 advisors. Out of the 3 advisors, he was the nastiest advisor. He had one advisor which was very passive. He had one advisor which was very against, that was Yitro. And he had one advisor which was for and antagonizing Paro, and this was Bilam. Bilam was very smart. Bilam had a very, very quick tongue, a very strong tongue. He was, as our Mefarshim, our commentaries explain to us, was the nemesis of Moshe. What do I mean by that? It means that the nations of the world could come to God and say, hey, it's not fair. You gave the Jewish people a Moses. Of course they're righteous. So God said, you know what? I'll give you someone. And there's a difference amongst the commentaries. Either as good or even better than Moses to you. And it was Bilam. Bilam, according to many commentaries, had a greater potential than Moses. And others say an equal potential to Moses. However, he ran after the fame and he ran after the money. He was very, very wealthy. Imagine you get into a dispute with somebody, and all you need to do is you call up a lawyer, and this lawyer takes it to court and makes sure you always win. Whether you're right, you're wrong, you're saying the truth, you're lying, the lawyer guarantees you to win, no matter what. This was better than that. You called up Bilam, you said, Bilam, I need you to curse so-and-so. He would set the price. You don't care what the price was. You did a wire transfer, and he had it done for you. So he took the power of his tongue, which could have been used towards blessing, towards bringing the Jewish people closer to God, the Goyim, the nations of the world, closer to God. However, he let his mouth be taken over and go on to curse others. What we could learn from this piece of the Zera Shimshon is how important it is to bless, and to know that blessing is a lot stronger than curses. Blessings are activated right away. When you bless somebody, you're saying it and you're carrying it along with positivity. And that's a beautiful thing. And that takes place right then and there. Curses are something which are delayed. Hashem doesn't run for destruction. Hashem is not so enthusiastic about negativity and destruction. Rather, blessings and positivity. Something that we should always be aware of is we need to be responsible for ourselves. We need to be happy, we need to be positive, and we need to be blessing others. If others curse us, don't take it so strong. You know, sometimes people curse another individual, and we take it so strong. Don't worry. You're close to the Kadosh Baruch Hu. You're blessing others. You're happy with others. Don't take it so strong. There aren't too many people, if any at all, that have the power of Bilam to curse others. This whole concept of sorcery and black magic and cursing is not something that we should get hung up on in the world that we live in today. Rather, positivity, attract positivity towards us, and anyone who wants to come and curse you, bless them back. Shower them. You know, they say, kill them with love. Kill them with blessings rather than curses. What a person does to others is what comes around back to them. So then if you think and feel of cursing another, it could come back. Just bless and bless and bless, and positivity and love, and everything will be good, B'ezrat Hashem.